In this video, we'll be demonstrating how automotive dealers, and specifically heavy equipment dealers, can orchestrate efficient field service with Salesforce. In a typical field service flow, a customer calls in with a service request. Then, a customer care representative reviews the customer's assets, creating a work order with an appropriate priority rating. That representative, or the dispatch team, then assigns the case to an appropriate technician based on availability, skill, and location suitability. The chosen service technician is notified of the service appointment and dispatched to the customer's location. Once the work is complete, the customer signs off on the successful work order. Let's see how Salesforce makes this process seamless.
Welcome to Jaren's demonstration of Salesforce Field Service tailored for the needs of the heavy equipment dealer. So let's imagine that I am a service manager at a heavy equipment dealer. I receive a phone call. If I have my telephony or my phone system tied into Salesforce, which is very common, a screen pops up with a phone number and lets me know that it is Benjamin Davis from Davis Farms that is calling. I pick up the phone, have a nice conversation with Ben, and as I do so, I take a look at the Davis Farms account in Salesforce, identify kind of how our relationship is trending, what interactions we've had previously, how much money they spent previously, as well as what other previous interactions I may have had with Davis Farms. And as I scroll down to see what type of assets he has, sure enough, he's calling for service on this John Deere tractor from 2022. Now, he mentions to me that he's interested in having an oil change done on that particular tractor. So what I will do to track that and automate that process through Salesforce Field Service is I will go ahead and create a work order. Now you see that South Side automatically comes up as the most desirable service territory because I understand that Davis Farms is in our South Side. Service territories are a concept within field service to define, to break down your territory that you service your customers to help assign the best possible resource who is within a good proximity so that when you use the scheduling algorithm, it identifies the most optimal resource for this work order. Now, again, Ben mentioned to me that he just wanted an oil change. So I'll go ahead and select that. Again, that's a predetermined work type that I've defined. It will drive proper alignment. So when the system recommends a technician, we'll only recommend technicians that have that particular skill are able to perform an oil change. It will also drive a very prescriptive work plan that helps the technician understand exactly step-by-step what to do on that work order to accomplish it, as well as what parts and materials may be required to complete it. So you'll see it's already assigned to Davis Farms, and I'm going to go ahead and associate to Benjamin Davis. That's all I really need to create right now. This is an oil change, so it's not particularly critical. So I'm just going to leave it at the default low priority versus, for example, a break fix where the vehicle is non-functioning, maybe a priority, urgent, higher priority work order. I go ahead and create save, and it creates that work order. Now, let's say that if I was part of the contact center, I created this work order. It may go to a technician. It may go to a service manager. They may try to, may need some additional information or may try to troubleshoot this work order remotely. Since this is an oil change, remote service is not relevant. But in another use case, we may be able to try to troubleshoot the customer's concern remotely. In that case, I go down here to Visual Remote Assistant. And I can go ahead and type in a text. Should say a phone number, which I'm going to send a text invite to the customer to collaborate with me remotely. Now, switching over to my cell phone, I've received the virtual remote assistant prompt. I go ahead and accept the permissions. So if you can imagine, if you're the service manager or the technician, you're not even on site yet, you could have the customer go show you the particular piece of machinery. If you needed a serial number, if you needed to take a peek under the hood, whatever the case may be. But again, in this case, with an oil change, we know that that's not feasible for us to remotely troubleshoot. But again, that's a native feature of Salesforce, which a lot of our customers have see a lot of value in. So back to the service console here. Again, we've shown the visual remote assistant. Now, what we know at this point we do need to send a technician out to the particular customer. So the way we do that is via a service appointment. Now, one thing I wanted to point out on this particular screen, you'll see that this work order is associated, of course, with the contact, with the particular account. But more importantly, what you'll see is there's a default work plan. So we understand for any sort of an oil change service call, these are the steps that our technician needs to complete. So it's all pre-populated, minimizing the potential for the technician to miss a step, making sure quality of service is there from a delivery standpoint. Additionally, we've got products required. So we understand this particular work type needs an oil filter, synthetic oil. Those are the only two products required to execute this particular work order. So you'll see, for example, this work order is in status new. So if I am a service manager or contact center employee, I have assisted the customer as much as I can at this point. We understand we need to get a technician out there. So whether it's the same individual or perhaps you have a separate persona that performs the dispatch type work stream, I'm going to go ahead and go over to our field service console. And again, in a typical use case, you might have an individual or a team who handles dispatch. Now you'll see, here's my dispatch board. And again, I have got my service territories broken down: north side, south side, west side. You'll see it's a pretty open day for us today, right? So I do have this one service appointment, which has been created, and we've got that set up automatically that when a work order comes in that can't be addressed remotely, it goes ahead and creates a service appointment that we understand we need to get a technician on site. Now, if I go here, I can do one of two things. I can just ask the system to schedule, or I can ask the system to get candidates. What that just simply means is I'm asking the system to recommend the most appropriate resource. One of the things it looks like is proximity to the particular service territory, depending on your settings. But there are a variety of things called scheduling priorities, which we can configure, whether that is distance, skill level, experience, a variety of different variables we can calculate and weight their particular relevance or importances in the scheduling algorithm to recommend the most ideal candidate. In this case, it's an oil change. The way we have the system configured, it's going to look for a technician that is in the particular service territory and has the necessary skills. Pretty simple in this use case. I go ahead and click Get Candidate, and basically it finds this particular resource in the south side as the most ideal one, and it opens up the window that this technician can be on site. So again, it shows 14 time slots. These are the ones for this particular day. Because we have the system set up to schedule this oil change as soon as possible, it's showing these really pretty much real time from when I scheduled or created that service appointment. Now I'm going to go ahead and click Assign Recommended. And what the system will do is go ahead and find that earliest available time for the recommended resource and schedule that service appointment. Once that appointment is scheduled, the technician will receive a notification as well as the customer. Customer will then need to approve or acknowledge that particular service appointment. Notification will be sent to the particular technician who will be addressing the customer's concern. Now, we will be switching to the mobile experience to look at what the technician sees. I'm the technician. I've received a notification that I have one service appointment that's pending. I can go ahead and tap on that service appointment. Get to see some details about this particular service appointment. You can see I can view the inventory, parts that are required. It also tells me that all the parts I have in my truck. So that's good. I can go ahead and go on site. I can see that there are work plans defined. So I know exactly what I'm going to be doing on that particular work order. I'll give you any other details here. Now, let's say that I am heading to the service appointment day of, and I get paid for my time of travel. So I'm going to go ahead and log into this particular service appointment, or sorry, log my time, start my time clock, I should say. Now the clock is ticking. I've created my time entry. I go on site and meet with Ben. Ben takes me to a particular piece of machinery. You'll see I can view. It will tell me exactly what steps to take. It will show me any necessary materials or tips that I have to use. For the purpose of this demo, I'm going to go ahead and simply click through. I've prepared for my oil change. I've drained the oil. I've followed instructions to remove and replace the filter. I've added more oil. I have verified the oil level and I have performed the test drive. I can say work is complete. What I also typically will do is obtain customer signature. So as the screen refreshes here, it will show that I have sent the customer a notification to go ahead and sign that they have accepted work. That can just be done on their mobile device. Now I have completed the work. I have marked the work done in the mobile application. I have sent the customer signature. Last step I would do as I'm driving home, maybe get back to the office, get back to home. I would then create my end time, create my new entry for my current timesheet. So as we see that the service technician has completed all of his steps, what does the dispatcher see? Well, if we go back to Salesforce and view this refresh work order, because the work's been completed and there was only one service appointment associated with the work order, we will see that the service appointment is marked as completed and the work order is marked as completed. If we go back to the field service tab, what does the dispatcher see? We'll see it's still within this window. We can't schedule over it, but it is completed, just like this previous service appointment.
Interested in learning more about how field service can help your team? Visit our website or set up an appointment today.